The other day there was two mechanics sitting there talking about, cars with the cold air intakes, and you got to turbocharge this, and you got to fix a timing belt and the water pump, and you got to make sure that this gets cleaned. And I'm thinking they're like, I'm just here to get my brakes changed. And very much this is a perfect example of what happens in the fitness industry. So much of the way that some coaches speak is to maybe impress other coaches or to try to sound like they're smart. So instead of, sort of bringing it down to a level where the majority of people would understand what they mean, they have to speak in certain terms. They talk about somatotypes, which means body types. They talk about macronutrient breakdown, which is like how many carbs and fats and protein you have, how much protein you have. They talk about nutrient timing, which means what time of day that you're eating. And they try to make it sound very difficult, because I think there's something in making it sound challenging, because if it sounds challenging, then you're more likely to need them as a coach. But realistically, it isn't that complicated. It is very simple. And don't get me wrong, of course I've studied these things. I've got my degree and all this, and I know what these terms are, but I don't think that speaking these terms is going to be helpful for majority of people. Maybe when I speak to a colleague, sure, but if I'm trying to speak to you, I need to make this so that's easily digestible, that you don't have to worry about having to go look up definitions when you're listening. Instead, you're saying, okay, this is what I have to do, and now I can get on with it. I can get on with getting my brakes changed. I don't care about all this other stuff, because in the end of the day, I got all this other stuff I need to worry about. So forget about all that nonsense. Just fix my brakes. In this case, just tell me what to do to get to my goal. And that's what I want you to pay attention to. Those instructors, those coaches that are able to explain to you in a very simplistic manner are the ones that understand it best. You know something the best if you're teaching it. Now, again, I've said this before. It is simple. It is straightforward, but it's not always easy. So start off at the basics. Focus on the things you need to change your brakes. You need to change your oil, put the gasoline. You need to do that maintenance. That's the stuff that you have to focus on majority of the time for your plan as well. The big rocks that we've talked about. And then down the road, maybe you have to make some changes. But don't listen to those people who are making it complicated, because it's really not. So just instead, focus on the big things, the big rocks. Get those done, and maybe down the road we have to worry about making it a little bit more complicated when it's that time. But for majority of people, it actually never gets to that point, because usually they quit before that. You need to be different. Don't quit, just focus on the big rocks, and we'll make it more challenging when it needs to be.